What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to talk about the new season and the new Seraph class, because a lot of you guys are probably playing through all of this on seasons because, you know, that's the easiest way to level up and learn things. So with that said, here's what I did to level up. Here are some things you can do, especially for all of you beginners out there, just working on your seasons for the first time or something. And just to make note, there's no rush to finish it, because usually seasons are, you know, infinite, and basically you just work on it at your own pace. There's no time limit till graduation, and so you just finish it when you're ready. And yeah, but for anyone who is kind of lost or you don't know what to do, here's some things that I worked on. So this is my seasonal character, got to level 61. And then I also have another one that we did. We got it to 61 as well, so I could play with it without tagged gear, or with tagged gear, like over my main. And then this one's a season one where I was just like playing around, testing things, and then, you know, experiencing the game as a newer player, more or less, with everything. So with that said, yeah, I think Seraph so far is pretty fun. Definitely needs some work in the future, which I think they're going to be doing, but here's what you do, and here's what I did. So, if you're wondering where to go about leveling, and like you're a new player, you don't know where to go, and let's say you actually have season gear and all that stuff, so this is what your gear should probably look like. Assuming you have journals done. If you don't, just minus like 10 AP and DP, and then you'll be like 240, 300. So roughly around that spot. So when I first started, from like level 1, I started at Western Guard Camp, and then we did about like the first 15 levels around here, mostly just questing and doing the tutorial, all that stuff, until Velia. And then from 15 to like mid 20s, we went to Castle Ruins, and then mid 20s to like mid 30s was Bloody Monastery. And then personally, I did something different, which I went straight to Catfishman Camp around like the mid 30s. But what newer players can do, assuming like you don't have the entire map discovered, this is your first character, you could go to Mascal Forest. I think that one's a pretty solid and pretty quick spot to grind for newer players. Otherwise, down around here, I usually get this spot mixed up pretty regularly. Marnie's Lab is a pretty good spot in your 40s, and then you could finish up at Catfishman Camp if you wanted to. But there's also a few other places, assuming this is like you're not your first character, maybe you're a returning player. Down here by, where is it, like the Hex Sanctuary spot? It's down in Calpheon. It's, yeah, like Trader's Graveyard and Hex Sanctuary. These are very solid spots. You can level up very quickly here as well as from 50 to 56. A place near town is Soldier Cemetery, which is also good for your 50s to 56. But I think from like 50 to like 60, if you wanted to, Trader's Graveyard. Otherwise, what I did was Polly's Forest, and well, Polly's Forest is down here. That's what got me there. So that was the leveling in a nutshell. Here are some other tips that I would give to you guys to level up quickly. So this is what I did. You guys can watch it on my season video, but make sure to get your combat XP, Lightstone, and setup going. So the way it works is with 2 of these, I just did the extra AP against monsters, because that's what you're going to be doing, just grinding random stuff. And then this is the easy one to get, the extra AP against monsters. So most people should have 2 of them, or at least 1 of them, through just doing the quest tutorial to get them. And then what you do is put in 4 like wind or combat XP stones. Mine are amplified, admittedly, but here's what you can do. So you go down to Artifact Lightstones. Wind is the blue one, and then the ones you would get are basically these. So 4 of these, Lightstone of Wind, and then it's 25 XP, 25% times 4 of them, and then you get a 300% bonus from the effect. So it's a total of 400. If you have the amplified ones, let me see. Where are the amplified? So this one is 50%, so it's like a total of 500%. Either way, whether you're a beginner or not, just try to get the cheap ones, and it's generally pretty good, and they sit on the market, so you can just buy them for very cheap. Another thing, while you are playing through seasons, I believe in the season pass, I don't think I could show you, I didn't buy the second tier, but they give you a box of crystals, which, let me show you, is one of these resplendent kydex crystals. They give you 2 of them, and what you're going to want to do is put them into here, and this is what I use for seasons. Now, you're probably not going to have all of them if you're a new player, simply because you're just like, you don't have them. So what I would do in the meantime is on the market, you would go to search for combat, I believe. Hold on, where is it? Where is that? I forgot what it was called. Okay, so the Magic Crystal of Infinity Experience. You can buy these off the market too. And there's no limit to how many you can get. So fill up your crystal slot with these, and it's just 10%. And then replace them with the 20s for every season you play through. So in theory, that's actually a lot. So you're getting another like 300 plus another like 400 or 500% XP, and that's very helpful. Other things you can do to level up early on that are obtainable by new players, just get the Cron Meal for the 20% XP, and then they give you a book of combat just by playing through the seasons, and a bunch of scrolls that you pop. So yeah, getting, like, for me, I wish I could show you how long it took me on per character, but I'm pretty sure it was, all of this was under like 6-7 hours getting to level 61, and then you know, just leveling up with all the buffs. Make sure once you're level 50, you can go exchange with the Black Spirit, pay 100 energy, and then for 3 hours you get another 50%. And then with your tent buff, if you can, 10% of this one. And you can buy, there's like a church buff as well. So just stack your buffs to level up very quickly. And trust me, it should, you know, speed up your leveling process all the way to 60 as fast as you can. You don't really particularly need to get 61. I think 60 completes the season pass. But 61 is, back in the day, 61 was the number for seasons. Now they toned it down and it's 60. But anyway, that was the basic gear and leveling stuff. And with this season, well, since they force graduated everyone before, gearing up is actually very easy now. So back in the day, you would have to exchange time-filled fragments for it. And nowadays, for newer players, to get all your Tuvala stuff, you just buy it with silver off the market or the blacksmith guy. So you just basically buy everything and you repair with the time-filled fragments, which is actually kind of nice. So yeah, with this, you don't really even need to fail stack anymore, because the pity, like the guarantee, is so low to the point where you can just slam it on like a 1 or 2 stack or something very little and then force it through without any fail stacks these days, which I think overall is good, because, you know, new players, over the years, I have seen a lot of new players using pretty high stacks for Tuvala gear, and it's kind of cringe, and you don't want to do that. So anyway, I'm glad they changed the entire process, making Tuvala seasonal gear a lot easier, and yeah. So anyway, if you're playing Seraph, the weapons that matter are, well, all of them, but the one I would recommend leveling or upgrading first is main hand, followed by awakening, and then offhand, just because in AP order it gives the most. But yeah, it's just really easy to do that nowadays. And let's talk about, you know, some quests that I think are worth doing as a seasonal player. Now, if you do the main quest, that is a good thing. So like, if you're first time playing through the game, I would recommend doing all the main stories, but here are some important ones that I didn't really bother doing on this character, but for newer players that I think are important. So anything with the expansions, like inventory expansions, Usually, the alternative way to get them is through events or, you know, real money pearl shops. So I'd recommend just doing all these quests, getting as much inventory limits as you can, maxing that out. I believe there is another one that gives a pet, but I think that one's family bound. So like if you've done it once, you can only do it once. So pets for your class, and while you're out grinding, you get the Seraph sigils. I talked about that in another video, making sure to... I told you guys which ones to get, but my choices are a little bit different just because I play this game more. So anyway, other things I'd recommend, aside from inventory, pets, I think most of it is into reoccurring. So as a new player, what you're going to want to do is try to do the season weekly, and you can only pick one of them. And I would personally pick the one where you're grinding at, if you're like you're already down in this spot. So Blood Wolves is a good one. Actually, let's just go down the entire list. I know there's a lot of quests, but you really only pick one of them a week, and then they give you time-filled stones and everything else. So the ones that I think a new player would do: Polly's Forest. This new mushroom dish one is good. Renaros and Monchums, people who grind infinite potions, those are pretty good. Blood Wolves is a very solid one because that one you can do it pretty quickly, and Cagdums are, yeah, it's pretty good. It goes by pretty quickly actually. And then like they're all not that bad, but these are the ones where you would be grinding for silver and other stuff in general. So it makes sense to get 2 in 1, right? So Shuriken, not too bad. Proddies is very solid, but being able to get there is probably the hardest spot for new players, just because that one is out in the middle of the ocean. So aside from that, usually Blood Wolves, Polys, anywhere that gives a potion pieces early on, something I'd recommend. And if you haven't already done it, start doing your Garmoth quest weekly. Usually people keep boss alts there, but in the off chance you can get a Garmoth's Heart from RNG, it's generally worth doing. So start getting into the habit of doing 3 a day for new players. Morning light bosses if you want to, because these are, you know, they could be rewarding. Most of the time they give at least like, you know, roughly about 100 mil in terms of loot every time, and most of it's in gold bars. Sometimes you get the rare reforged crystals. So new players, definitely recommend doing it. Even if you don't need the reforged stones now, you might in the future, or you will in the future. But either way, early on, still decent amount of silver from gold bars exchange. And then one thing I've always talked about was doing the Pit of the Undying. Now, it's this quest right here, the weekly. I've already done mine for the week, but you know how this slot over here, the Adventurer's Tome, that you can get? You can get another one that goes up to... Where is it? I think it's into storage, but either way, this is what it looks like. It's a Crow's Insignia. And it goes up to like, it starts at 5%, and it goes up to 10, 15, 20, and then the final one at Pen gives 30%. Or you can get the class sigil from the box from the event over here. So this one is 10%, and I showed it to you before. This is what it looks like on my other one. So 10%, just, it doesn't really add a lot. 10% is additive, not multiplicative in this game. So, I mean, it just helps you leveling up. Yeah, so those are the quests that I'd recommend. Obviously, doing any event ones weekly, because those usually give the big ticket items. And then a lot of stuff, you just kind of look at the rewards. Make sure to do your season weekly. And then, like, I would say there's a lot more, but not particularly season recommended, because a lot of Adonia stuff is endgame. But if you're going for infinite potions, do your weeklies. Garmoth, Morning Light bosses, and Pit of the Undying if you can. Let's see what else. Main story, obviously, if it's your first time or you're going for the 30,000 quests. This is something I feel like I have to mention every time. So by default, your quest log, quest type probably looks like this. These are all grayed out. Why it's off by default, I have no idea. Blame Pearl Abyss, but make sure to just turn them on so it's all gold, so that way you can actually see the quests. So like you see how over here, it'll be like, oh, this little border is popping up. That means there's a quest available. If you don't have certain things on, those borders won't appear, so you just don't even know there's a quest there. So you may want to make sure to turn that on as well. Now, with that said, you know, other things I'd recommend are just, you know, play at your own pace. I know there's a lot of people that can finish seasons in like 4 hours, but just don't worry about that if you're returning a new player. Just work on it, learn everything. But yeah, overall, I think the Seraph is a pretty fun class. Needs a few tweaks, but, you know, Global Labs, that's where we read all about it. And if you want a quick recap, I have a video of a basic skill list that I did, and here are the add-ons that I use. It might not be the best ones, but these work for me, and generally these are what I would go for. So here's how you play Seraph in a very quick nutshell. You use a lot of skills, get your BSR to 100. It's more explained in detail in the other video, but basically there's a lot of combos, and it's a lot of shift keys, like shift E, W, or E, Q, F, and then a lot of up and down. So like W, left click, W, right click, down, left, down, right. It's very easy skills. And then once your BSR hits 100, you either go into light or dark mode. I personally picked light one because, you know, it feels like things flow a lot better, and all of that is, you know, it just feels nicer actually. So use that one, and then once Magnus and Rabam skills come out, that might change up the rotation a little bit. And here are the add-ons that I used. So another thing, if you can, start doing like quests. They'll probably give you everything for your like breath, strength, and health. That'll help you level up to 30 quicker. And just make sure to get that done as soon as possible, because the health one is probably the most important. Another almost 300 health is really nice. Extra weight limit's always nice. Breath, I mean, it's helpful, but it's like the least important of the three. Generally, your guild will probably have a lot for, you know, those like, what are they? Fruit juice or whatever. These thingies. So yeah, they're pretty easy to get nowadays, and just do guild quests and you get those as rewards, or I believe you can actually just get them other places just by doing normal stuff. But anyway, that's about it. Those are some quick season tips for all of you guys, and if you're still lost and you need help, don't worry, I'm happy to point all of you guys in the right direction. Just ask it, drop into comments, and I'm happy to answer your questions. But with that said, enjoy the season, and I know it hasn't even been a week, but newer players are probably starting this game out, probably lost, have a million questions. Join the Discord. I have a bunch of guides there as well, and you can always ask. So anyway, I'm out for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace!